Hello, everybody. My name is Weelh, and today you finally get it. You finally get the explanation. You finally get bits of the story of the manga that is happening. It is very late. It is very late here, but I couldn't sleep, and I wanted to get this video out. Um, this I wanted to get the video out on this story that I have been creating. Um, Not this is gonna be different than the other one because my voice isn't as tired, but I am very much. It's still late and my body still needs sleep, so I'm still gonna be kind of weird. But yeah, I'm excited to finally explain the plot of the story I'm doing. Um, it's got a lot of different themes that a lot of stories are going to nowadays, but there's a lot of stuff in there that I'm going to try to that's already in the story. Sorry, I'm rambling. There's a lot of stuff in the story that I'm going to use to kind of throw you off and throw the audience off when they read. So, if you don't already know, the name of the manga is Through Closed Eyes. The name in itself is very important and symbolic to the story because the story follows a young girl in high school who, which like quite a bit of anime and manga do. A young girl in high school in just normal setting, normal world, city, and everything, but is going to be going along the theme and genre of psychological horror. People hear the word in the genre horror, and a lot of them get kind of turned off and don't want to read horror genre in manga because there's a lot of horror manga that has some really graphic scenes and different stuff, and so I've seen a lot of people be not afraid but kind of just turned away from reading horror manga. So but with me, I am I'm terrible at playing horror games, but I love everything horror. And so for me to be creating a story that goes along the lines of horror, which it's not just psychological, there's actual horror and scary things in the manga I'm creating. But a lot of it is psychological because the story has the theme of what culture is putting everywhere now in supernatural, being vampires. This it seems like everywhere you look now in media and stuff, there is like werewolves, vampires, and different supernatural things. And although that is everywhere, like demons and stuff, everywhere in media, I'm not going to stray away from that theme, not only because it is popular in media right now, but also because I want to write and draw something that I'm interested in. Me being consumer of all these different things in media as well. Why not do something that I enjoy? And so it follows back to the story. I'm kind of just bumping all over the place. I didn't have like a script for this video. I just wanted to actually ramble and talk about the story. So bear with me, please. So it follows the story of a young teenage girl in high school named Amara. She goes and lives her life. She is not per se popular, but she has quite a bit of friends. She has family. She has people she cares about. And it kind of gives off the theme of she ends up having a unfortunate encounter, like most do in horror and psychological and different stuff like that in these different stories. She has an untimely encounter, and she ends up becoming a vampire herself. And it you have horror and action and different stuff because of any conflicts that may happen, fights, different stuff like that, because there's not only just going to be her and the vampire she encounters, there is a whole world that her eyes are finally starting to open to, which hence again through the name being Through Closed Eyes, living her whole life or most of her life, and then finally her eyes opening to this whole different world, this whole different struggle, this whole different atmosphere on a different side of humanity. And it shows, you see this person, Amara, having struggle not only because, one, vampires need to feed on humans, they need to kill, they need to do different stuff to survive. You see struggles on vampire side as well, being vampires in their own, hunters in their own, different things. Like, there's so much to a story with vampires in it, because you can go with one of my favorite mangas I've read is the story of, if you guys don't know it, I'll put the little cover thing up here, but this manga is called Happiness. Happiness is it doesn't have a lot of action in it. Like, it still has action, but it doesn't have like a lot. It's not known for its action. It's known for the majority of it being the psychological horror, the messing with your mind, and the main character dealing with all these different things, this thirst, this hunger, dealing with his friends, dealing with everything, and him being, because in these stories with vampires, and when the main character gets turned into a vampire or becomes part of this, just like in my favorite manga, Tokyo Ghoul, Kaneki, which, if you haven't heard of Tokyo Ghoul, read it first, and second, it's fairly popular, so you probably have heard of it. But if you haven't, definitely give it a read. It is amazing. The manga is, in my opinion, I know people hate on the anime and different stuff, the manga is leaps and bounds, in my opinion, better than the anime, but we're not going to get into the whole debate. But Tokyo Ghoul, Kaneki, you kind of get dragged in these situations into the other world of the supernatural. As a vampire, once you become a vampire, you're dragged into that world. Like, it's not something that you can so easily play both sides on. And so in back to the other manga, in Happiness, it focuses on the psychological side of, this person was still a human, this person still has feelings, this person still has all this different stuff, but the monster inside, the vampire, the thing that craves, the thing that needs to feed, also causes so much conflict. It's something that in most stories you can't coincide, you can't play both sides, and you usually have to choose in some cases. But the story I'm writing is it's gonna have quite a bit of action in it, but it's going to hit heavy on the psychological horror side, and it's gonna it's going to hit just really heavy on the mental and psychological burden of this character and trying to live both worlds, trying to control her own urges, her own instincts and everything, and not only just on controlling her urges, the character Amara controlling her urges, but also even on the fact of, even if she controls her urges, she is still a vampire and she's still dragged into that world, which means her friends and the ones she cares about can get hurt too because of the world she's associated with now. And so like these stories that revolve around vampire demons and different stuff, and like in Tokyo ghouls, it's when those two worlds coincide, the result is usually not very pretty. In the manga I'm creating, it's going to be dark. It's going to be very messed up. It's going to mess with you, and it is going to tear your heart out at times. But because that's what the story is designed to do. But it's to a certain level where you see this character develop, the main character develop. And so when you get good moments, when you get happy moments, genuinely happy moments that don't get torn away, it's even more rewarding because you get to see this character grow, this character kind of come into their own, like most main characters do. And so there is so much going into the story I'm creating, because again, this is a teenage girl. She has her regular human life, drama, high school, different stuff like that, and everything on the human side, which is already dramatic enough. And then you have the supernatural side, being the vampires and stuff, and vampire hunters. There's so much going into this, so many problems that can arise, friends, different stuff like that. It's going to be a roller coaster, and I am ready to just get full into this. Like I'm still working on chapter 1. I have a tendency of being a little bit too hard on myself and being a perfectionist and stuff, and so I go back, I do a couple pages, and then I go back and I read, because again I have to balance this around work and different stuff. I go back and I read, and then I'm just like, okay, I know exactly what's coming next, but let's go to that panel and tweak some stuff. I want this to look better. I want to do different stuff on this. And so I go back and I work on that, and I'll end up spending a whole day on a panel itself, being like, doing it, sitting there and being like, oh no, I need to add this. Or I'll be like, okay, no, actually I need to take away. Not everything's going to be this big old masterpiece whenever it's a smaller panel. And then I'll leave. I'll start working on a new panel, and I'll look back at it again. The cycle continues. I'll go back. I'm like, no, I need to go back. I'm gonna redraw this. I'm just gonna erase all that and just redraw that panel. And it's a chore. So especially because again, I'm not some famous artist. I'm not some famous mangaka. I can't. And I don't have a team, so this is all stuff I'm doing on my own, which I knew whenever I started this, that's what was going to be happening, that I was going to keep this focused, and I knew it was going to be a lot of work, and I knew that if I could crank out a chapter in a month, yay, good for me. But you know, I want this to be as good as it can be. I want to do it to the best of my ability. And whenever I go back and look at something and I say, that's not to the best of my ability, I can go back and do that. Oh, maybe I was getting tired during this part, I'm gonna go back and redo that. And so it's taking a long time to get chapter 1 done. But I feel like after I break that barrier of chapter 1, which chapter 1's gonna be pretty much, I'm pretty sure, a lot bigger than my other chapters and some chapters, which is pretty much not uncommon because the, I want to say, pilot chapters of most mangas are usually quite bigger, because you have to have, whether the manga has a hook in it, you have this story, you have chapter 1, you have to introduce not too much information to digest. You have to introduce enough information on the character's world you live in, and then you have to hook the person and get them in there. Not all mangas do that, and not all mangas that are successful do that, but a lot of them have that. And so working on this chapter, which is a big hook that I'm putting in there, which it's not a huge hook, but it's vampires. It's not hard to create a hook into the story, some action in the story in chapter 1 to get the reader going and being like, oh, I want that, I want to read that. And so it's going to be a bigger chapter. And so again, I apologize for it taking a while, whether you are from the algorithm and YouTube only watching this, or whether you have came from Instagram or TikTok and came here to watch this video or my stuff. I apologize to all of you that it's taking so long. I am trying my best, and it's going to be out soon. And after I complete chapter 1, I know the ball's gonna start rolling. I'm gonna be able to get these out a lot more and be like, and see, I'm gonna see the feedback I get from everyone, and good, bad, everything, tips, different stuff like that. But I'm not gonna put out an unfinished chapter, and so I'm going to finish. I'm gonna put it out and see what you guys say, and after that, I'm gonna just keep chugging along, and I feel like a lot of the stuff will die down, and I'll stop being as hard on myself, and improve on what I need to improve on, and not on what I don't. But yeah, story, sorry, I don't mean to be this long-winded. I'm looking at how long this video is going right now, and I am sorry. I apologize. But yes, psychological horror, action, different stuff like that. It's going to be a lot to digest, and it's going to be an emotional roller coaster, but it is going to be what I hope is an epic story, and what everyone can be on the edge of their seats for while they read. I don't know if there's anything else I need to cover. I don't want to give away a lot of stuff, so I'm trying to keep a lot of stuff not said. But main character Amara, she has a friend group. You know, she's a teenage girl. Setting where the setting isn't as important, because it's a city. I'm not gonna make it super Japanese, traditional, different stuff, and I'm not gonna make it super westernized. So the city is kind of gonna be up for interpretation of where you think it is. But vampires, psychological horror, action, this character, you're just gonna have to see. I'm really excited for this project, and I'm really excited to see the feedback it gets, because this is something that, again, in my last video I said I wanted to create to help people escape from any hard times they're having and be able to enjoy, and not use as per se a comfort crutch, but a story that you can be excited for and you can enjoy reading and help you cope with things, even though it's got, the show's gonna have the manga's gonna have its own little issues. So I want to be able to help people and make people happy and excited to read it, even though they might be a little bit sad in certain parts in the story. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm sorry for going on so long. if you enjoyed the video, you want to support me, be sure to follow my TikTok. I'll put short little updates in there every once in a while, and art and different stuff from the chapters I'm doing. Be sure to follow my Instagram, where I'll be doing the same thing. Be sure to just follow, which I should have my social medias linked in here. Be sure to, if you want to and want to support me on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe and like and comment and give me any tips below. Again, I'm sorry for this long video, and every one of you out there, have an amazing day, and if you're anytime around me, an amazing night. See you in the next video.